Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. Sorry about all of that. We're running a little late today. So making my family who's visiting from out of state some coffees, and it's time consuming. Anyway, welcome back to the channel. Whew. How did everybody do yesterday? I wasn't watching the markets yesterday. I was out. Took my family out for the day. Had a nice time. Just a quick little update on the account. I did make a small little trade pre-market yesterday before we headed out. It's a little $400 quick scalp trade. So we brought the account up to now 52,341. So we are just under $700 away from passing this combine. So let's get it done. Let's get it done. We're going to take our time though. We're not going to make any silly mistakes or bad moves here just because we want to finish here. We're going to wait for proper opportunities. We're going to show discipline and take the right trades at the right time. And if that means today's not the day to finish our account, then that means today's not the day. But hopefully it is. So we have our levels set from yesterday's session, which we are way below. We're not anywhere near them, really. Opened up much lower than we closed yesterday. Nice little gap here that may or may not be filled today. We'll see. Some sideways trading here. Obviously, a ton of volatility still, a ton of uncertainty in the markets. Tariff, right? Big news for NVIDIA yesterday after market close. An announcement was released that Trump is trying to keep NVIDIA from shipping products to China as another retaliatory hit on China, which will cost NVIDIA about $5.5 billion. So investors are not happy there. It caused NVIDIA to tank after hours yesterday, losing a pretty significant amount of their stock or stock price. And well, when your largest holding loses that much, you're going to go down as well, right? So NVIDIA being one of the largest in the NASDAQ, obviously the NASDAQ follows suit. So let's see what we get on futures today. It looks like maybe we might have bottomed out today already. We'll see. Not quite sure that we're going to be holding here at New York session open. A lot of volatility here, as you can see. A lot of these very large wicks back and forth, you know, price action here. So not liking what I see. The 15-minute chart doesn't look terrible, which is about to close the first candle of the New York session here. And it looks like we're getting stuck on some resistance. So you guys can see the 15 here. Not a bad first candle here for the New York session, but we closed. Look like we're getting some resistance at the bottom of this candle. You have some liquidity here. You can see some liquidity underneath here as well, where it looks like it kept price down. So we'll see what happens with this following candle. Already getting a big turnaround here. All right. Retail sales came out today, and I think they came out better than expected. Retail sales month over month was a meet at 1.4%. Core retail sales month over month came in slightly better than expected at 0.5% versus 0.4%. Retail sales year over year, a little bit higher than the previous. Yeah. Hmm. BOC. So the Bank of Canada got some news out here. Major shifts in U.S. trade policy have increased uncertainty. Duh, you're a little late on that. Cut prospects for growth. Also late on that news. The Fed had already said that in their last meeting. And raised inflation expectations. Okay. This is all, none of this is new. Mhm. The thing is, so any country or whatever that has tariffs on them currently, you can't really listen to what they have to say because obviously they don't want the tariffs on themselves. So their comments are going to be negative, clearly. And they have some higher inflation. Well, all of these countries can say what they want, but when you're going up against the largest consumer pool in the world, which is the US, um, you know, doesn't really put you at the top of the food chain. I might be getting a reversal here. So market open was here. Nice bullish move here. A little bit of a retracement. You can see we definitely have plenty of liquidity down here. How well that holds is the question. It's difficult to even define levels of support and whatnot in this type of market over the past couple days. It's just been so choppy and volatile. Going to be very, very picky today. The plan is to be very, very picky with the trade because I don't feel like going backwards in this account, and I'm not going to take any unnecessary risks when we clearly have no idea what direction we're headed here today. So looks like the Bears are taking control. Got to be careful. We are one trade away from passing this combine. And if it takes 2, 3 days to take that trade, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be chill, relaxed. We're not gonna force anything. The trade that I took yesterday morning actually would have done it. Um, had the perfect setup. Got in at a very, very nice place, and set my take profit right at 1100, which would have put us right where we needed to be to pass this combine. Um, Price started to slow down and look like it may not break through a resistance area, so I just took profits just to take the profits. Plus, I couldn't stay much longer anyway, and profits are profits, right? So we took a little $400 trade. Um, it was a nice little 1-to-1, honestly, and that's where we are now. So, but it would have if I let it run, it would have hit. But at the same time, you know, once again, we are in this type of market here where you just don't know. So I decided, and I think was the right choice, to just take profits at a 1-to-1 and call it a day, and went on and enjoyed the day with my family. So that was, I think that was a good call. It got us a tiny bit closer to our goal here, which is the goal, right? It's just easily and you know um, properly get yourself closer and closer to your goal, right? There's no rush here. If you try to rush it and make mistakes, then you'll end up backwards. So right now, price is reaching for lows of the day. Yeah, lows of the day right before the European session kicked in, I believe here. So we have like let me switch back over to the 15 so you guys can see what I'm looking at. We have like a double bottom here, and then we had a nice push to the upside here during the European session, but we just slowly continued to decline. So we may want to target this area as a pivot point, but just be careful. Sentiment obviously is pretty poor, so you may just fall right below this level here. It might continue to push to the downside. So, but this would be an area of interest, I would say, right? So you see what price action does when we get down to those levels, and then we can make a plan from there. But if price continues to look as choppy as it does, I'm not going to take any risks. I mean, it just is. It is what it is. The type of market that we're sitting in. Gold, I believe, reached and made new highs again recently. Let's see. Yeah, gold. Let's take a look at the date. Oh yeah, yeah, we're sitting at new highs again. There you go. Yeah, a lot of these fund managers are moving money. Looks like we're reaching to continue making new highs. We're at 33.30 for gold. Look at this. Look at the volume coming in on gold here. Boom. Just blew right past previous highs here, continuing to make new highs today on gold. All-time highs. I shouldn't make any trades until I finish my coffee anyway, you know. Look at that. Continued all-time highs on gold. We are just pushing. So I would imagine then that the NASDAQ might continue to the downside today. We'll see. Oh, not quite all-time highs here. What am I? Oh, yeah, it's all-time highs. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that chart on gold, huh? The day chart here. Phew. Look at this push here. Very steep move to the upside. Nice. All right. See what we got going on here. Hmm. Hmm. See if we got any other headlines. Mhm. Still pushing lower on the NASDAQ. So watch for this being a pivot point here, because we basically just reached previous lows. Close enough anyway. Okay. Be right out. All right. Just going to go say goodbye to the fam real quick, and I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we're back. Okay. All right. It looks like we might. Yeah, maybe. This doesn't look that strong here, so we may continue to push through our level here. You can see that we pushed down to our previous lows. This was a pivot point twice before. Maybe let's wait for some confirmation, either another retest or a break above one of these other levels. I don't know. It's very cautious with taking longs, I feel like, because the sentiment is just so bad right now that, you know, can pretty much drop at any time. But then in the same case, if we get news that like China is coming to the table or something, but I feel like also we're at this point where, we've been faked out a couple times already in the market. unless there's confirmation of news or whatever, we may not move. The uncertainty is just too extreme right now, I think. So we got to be careful. Again, in and out with trades. We're not going to stick around for anything. Maybe smaller positions just to be safe. All right, so we're pushing up, making new highs. We pushed past this level here that seemed to have been a pretty decent resistance. Came back down to lows of the day where we touched. This will be the third time today, and have gotten a reversal off of. The question is how far do we move up? It might actually be just setting a pretty good trend. You can almost see a perfect rectangle here. Sideways trading. Same level here. Yeah, we wicked above. This is probably just liquidity. Immediately push right back down to previous lows. Looks like we're getting a bounce again. We'll see. I think it's going to be a tough day to try to grab a trade, especially one that's so important as the last trade, possibly, of this combine. Ugh. Excuse me. Ah. We are in some times right now, boy. Let me tell you. 3.1 trillion dollars worth of options set to expire on Friday. Goodness gracious, I can't stop yawning. What's going on here? More coffee. Hmm. A little article here. Consumer confidence has plummeted due to Trump's administration of trade wars, right? We knew that. But this economist here says, watch what consumers do, not what they say, which I have a saying myself. It's not what you say, it's what you do that tells the actual story, right? Because people say, especially in the moment, um, whatever comes to their mind there, but then do something different later on. So, what are consumers doing? Well, they're still going out to eat and ordering takeout food from restaurants. That's a sign that trade wars haven't yet forced them to alter their habits. So, yes, the sentiment, maybe it's obviously um, worrisome, especially with the way the news puts it out there, which would alter the sentiment, sure, but it hasn't affected them in their actual doings yet. So that's just a interesting point of view here. Sales at restaurants actually jumped up 1.8% in March. So not only are they not altering their habits yet, but they're going out to eat even more, which would assume the opposite of what they're saying, right? Let's see here. We rolling over again. You definitely got some liquidity here. We're pushing through the liquidity below. Yeah, we might be rolling here. Might be heading down for some additional lows. Yeah, plus summer's coming. School session's going to be out in less than 2 months. Vacations and things. I mean, people are still spending money. Hmm, very interesting point of view there. We definitely got to look at what they're actually doing, right? I mean, they can say one thing, um, and then do the complete opposite, which according to this article is in the data there is exactly what's happening, right? Yeah, consumers are saying they're worried and whatever, but they're not acting that way. So if consumers continue to spend money, then your GDP isn't going to slow that much, right? It's really all down to the consumer, right? Might be getting a little support here. It's just, like you look at this price action though, it's literally no idea which way we're headed here, right? You have no idea. So you can't trade off of this. I mean, you'd literally be guessing, and that would be gambling, right? It's just, we're gonna put we're gonna put our money on red or black. It's We have no idea what direction we're gonna head here. So try to take a trade off of this in either direction. It's pretty dumb, I'd say. And even using the volume profile, you can say, oh, we're at the bottom end of the 70% range here. Sure, but that doesn't mean that the price can't just continue to fall. You still have trades happening down here. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. So we're not going to do it. Fear and greed index, 17 out of 100, extreme fear. Yeah, that's when Buffett says to buy, right? All right. Majority of the platform looking for shorts or in shorts. Majority of them are, well, no, I understand that part. Yeah. See, you have no idea what direction we're gonna head here. Like, there's nothing that's following any kind of um, strategy or whatever here. Yes. So some rumors, or not so much rumors, the CEO of TopStep has been out on X, kind of sharing an idea about them changing their consistency rule or moving it to a different place in their program. And they're I guess talking about taking away the consistency rule during the combines, which would allow you to pass one of their combines in a single day, and then moving the consistency rule to the next level, which is their SFX whatever. So you're still trading in essentially a demo account, but you're paid out on your earnings. Um, and so they're looking at moving the 50% consistency rule to that section. And then once you get shoulder tapped and you move into the live account, that consistency rule would go away and you wouldn't be capped. But during your that middle section there, you'd be essentially capped on what you can make um, per day, right? So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. Apex, I think they don't have a consistency rule during the challenge portion because they do allow you to pass their challenges in a single day. Um, and their consistency rule is uh, a little bit more harsh than Top Steps. Like Top Steps is 50%. Theirs is either 30 or 40%. Apex, I don't remember, but um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. With my luck, I'll pass the combine with the 50% consistency rule, and then that's when they'll move it over to the other, to the SFX account or whatever it's called, and then I'll get stuck with the consistency rule there too. But it's okay. I mean, the goal is to eventually get to a live account anyway, right? I mean, the good thing if they do that, then my second account will be easier to pass, and I'll be able to just pass that, I guess, in a single day if they do change that rule. With the movements we've been getting, it's not hard to be able to pass a 50K account in a single day, as long as you're good enough to catch the right moves. All right, so we're making higher highs. So you can see here we've made higher highs. We've now made lower lows. I'm sorry, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Right. So confirming a reversal. We're continuing to push to the high side here. I would probably want to see price push above the highs of the New York session before I try to make any moves, especially a long position. I don't know. I have this feeling. I don't know if I want to be in any long positions. But you got to go with what price is telling you. And right now, we are looking at a reversal. Price is reaching for highs of New York session. We'll see. You know, we still have our control right around that area also. So if we do push past our highs and we come back and retest, that's take take a long off that as long as it holds. But that also puts us right smack in the middle of the day's range, which is not a great place to be trading at all. So we'll see. Oh, look at this. We might not even be holding here. Might be flipping around anyway. fix that later, I think. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop, chop. Chop, chop. See, on the 1 minute, it looks like a reversal. It doesn't look that way in the 15-minute. So I don't think I want to be taking longs today, at least not at this point. I don't know. I think if you can learn to trade in this kind of market and become successful, you'll be all right after. 'Cause this is difficult. If you can do this, yeah. Mm-mm. You got buyers there. You definitely got buyers here. How long they can hold out for is the question. Oh, I'll sneak past. See if this continues to run. Okay, so our control moved also, you can see. I mean, that's pretty clear. You can see the liquidity here in this area. Okay. I mean, even at the volume profile, you can just see it's just like steps, but they're all pretty equal. Everything is pushed out pretty far here. Um, so it's just like this whole range. There's there's volume, right? There's liquidity. And you can really see that everywhere here. So you have liquidity right here. You got sellers right here. You got buyers right here. So price is not moving. You can see that here, right? You got sellers here, you got buyers here. Um, you can see it up here. You got sellers, you got buyers. It's everywhere. It's just sideways. The price is just going to keep moving sideways. Even if we inch up, let's say we take out the sellers here, there's sellers here, there's even more sellers here. Tough market. Tough market. You can see we're almost forming like a D here, which they say, and I haven't really tested this myself, so don't take this with a grain of salt here. But they say this starts to form like a D. That's a trend, a sideways trading um, signal. There you go. So you got even more volume coming in up here now. A lot of sellers right now on the tape, but then you get a whole influx of buyers too, and then you get an influx of sellers. So you can't make any decisions off of where the price is right now. It's just too iffy, you know. Even people on the platform, it's like 50-50 short and long positions. But I feel like with this price action here, you're just guessing, hoping that it's going to go in your direction. How could you really tell where the price is going to go with any kind of, you know, degree of certainty, right? I mean, obviously you can never tell which way price is going to go, but you have more of a chance of being correct in certain types of markets, but and this isn't one of them. That's for sure. This price action is crazy. So even if the buyers do end up pushing through here, your next level would be up here, and you can see that you also have liquidity up here as well. And these are going to be even more sellers up here. Price is starting to slow down on the 15-minute chart, right? So, and there you go. Boom. Sellers just step in, and now price will come back down here. Now you're fighting the buyers down here again. So I would be more inclined to say short here, just based off of the 15-minute chart. Nothing else, really. You know, we haven't broken anything on the 15-minute chart. It doesn't mean that we can't, right? We can still obviously continue, but um, if you're gonna if you're gonna try to take a trade, you go with the trend. So let's see if sellers have enough to push through our buyers here. Take little scalps here, maybe. I mean, I don't, from here to here, little teeny. We pushed through here. This little wick just formed out of nowhere. It's like a ghost just appeared. Clearly, as of right now, your buyers and sellers agree on this price. Who's going to win the battle? Watch out for a push to the downside here. Gonna break out one way or the other. Whether it's up or down, I think once you get past this level, you might have a run. You might have a breakout one side or the other here. Quick little peek above. There you go. That was a nice push up. There you go. Reaching for New York session highs. See if we can push past the New York session highs here. Even if we do, you still got another level up here. A pretty decent amount of volume. Let's see if we got any news recently that might be changing. I don't see any major headlines here. Not good ones, anyway. Chip stocks tumble as NVIDIA, AMD warn of higher costs after U.S. restricts chip sales to China. I mean, duh. But is that something new? I mean, this came out 29 minutes ago, but what is... So is it not just NVIDIA? Hmm. I guess that's affecting more companies than just NVIDIA. So right now, we're in the middle of this sideways channel here, right? Not the greatest place to be taking any kind of trade, really. The 1 minute looks decent enough. Well, depends, I guess, on these next couple of candles here, but I mean, it doesn't look terrible for long positions. For me, I think I'd like to see a break above the New York session highs at least. Um, we do have some room to come down. We have plenty of liquidity down here, as it would seem. So even if we retrace back down to these levels here and held, it wouldn't be terrible to take a long from there. I just don't like um, the sentiment today, you know? And you should just trade off of what you see, but even that doesn't look that great, right? It's just a lot of chop. We haven't really clearly picked a direction. I mean, now this is starting to look like, it may actually come back down to this liquidity. You can see when we're starting to get pushed down again, right? As soon as we pass this level here, now the sellers are pushing down. Hmm. It may just not be a trading day. I don't have to force anything. I don't have to get a trade in today. You know, maybe that's the more grown up plan here is to just sit out. There's absolutely no need to take a trade in this mess, especially when we're so close. I don't even want to take a trade in the backup account, honestly, because even that, like, why would we want to risk that? There's just not really any clear direction. And then even looking for, zones to target for take profits, they're just so close to each other. You don't have any room really because at any one of these you can get a price reversal, you know? So here we are here. You have a decent size volume node here. We got pushed back up. Now what are we hitting this next one here? Is this one just going to push it right back down? The only space you have is up here, really, where if you do break out of here, maybe you have room to run back up to this zone here where you can see got some barcoding here, you know. So this might be a take profit target here. I wouldn't really go much further than that. But there's really no. There you go. We came up to the next node here and we got shoved right back down. Even if you got into a trade, I think you'd be in it for, a longer period of time if it goes in your direction. And then the longer you're in a trade for, especially on days like today, the more risk you're putting up. You can get a change in direction really at any moment. So I think the responsible thing to do right now is to stay out. As much as I want to finish this combine, I think my grown up trader voice is telling me not to get into this mess. And that's growth. That's growth. We'll wait. Tomorrow's another day. There will always be opportunities in the market. Just got to wait for it. I wouldn't even want to put a sizable position in here, even just to take a quick little scalp. I mean, you could do this type of market here. You can probably get away with that, but you'd have to risk a decent amount um, to even get a 1-to-1. And I don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Not worth it. Definitely getting some resistance here. We might end up actually falling now back down to our lows or somewhere in here. That's the other thing too. I don't even want to take a short, you know. We have plenty of liquidity here. We can see that. This whole range here, lots of liquidity, held price up. Now we're going to push through. If we push through this liquidity, is a decent opportunity there to take a run, at least down to back to these lows. But there's absolutely nothing that says we're going to even make it there. And with these swings here, I think there's more reasons to stay out of the market today than there are to get in. And I guess with that conclusion alone, we should probably stay out. So I think I'm going to call it for today, guys. I'm not going to get in on this mess here. We're not going to risk the account. We're so close, so close. I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to force something just to say that I passed or whatever. We can wait. You know, we can wait till tomorrow or the next day if required. And this is important at this level of the journey also, because if you can't maintain this type of focus and discipline in your challenge or your combine, whatever you want to call it, how could you expect yourself to maintain that kind of discipline and decision making when you pass, so if you can pass an account but then you can't keep one afterwards, what's the point, right? So the point is to pass them and then keep your account and make money afterwards. But if you can't make the proper decisions before you even get there, then when and if you get there, you can't expect yourself to maintain that. So I think the appropriate decision for today is to stay out and wait. It is what it is. As much as it, pains me to say that. And I appreciate you guys watching. So many days that I don't take trades and stuff, and I know it must be um, boring or whatever. But I got to make the right choices here for me. So, and I think this is the right choice. On a regular day, this wouldn't even be a bad. This is that setup that I've talked about in the past, where you have plenty of liquidity here. You have price reach back in, it does not push below, and then you push right back out. But even today, this setup isn't, you know, doesn't seem to be as strong as it would on a day where you have a direction. So, and even to recognize that and say, like, this setup isn't most likely going to work on a day like today when you're just trading sideways. And we're forming even more of a D here, which again, supposedly is a very good signal for sideways trading. So we're setting up a good range right here after the New York session. Here's your New York session range. You have a range on the day, right? Where we opened, we could not push past, at least close past. You have 3 hits down here on the same level. So we're just trading sideways, which makes sense, honestly, with the sentiment, the uncertainty, and everything going on right now around the world. You know, it doesn't surprise me that price is going to trade sideways. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. I'm going to set some alerts anyway, on the extreme ends of today's range, not the New York session range, really, because that just puts you in the middle of the extreme range. So we'll set some alerts on either end. If we break out of one of those, maybe I'll come back, take a look, see what price action looks like. But otherwise, we'll just wait till tomorrow. So no trades taken today, and I'm going to take a pat on the back to myself for not forcing something when we're so close to completing this combine. So I'm going to take that as a win. I hope you guys see it that way too. Um, Sorry about the, boringness of the day, but it just is what it is. And, we're gonna get there though. We're gonna get there. We're gonna pass this challenge. And then the next goal after that is for you guys to watch me take my first payout. All right, so let's get there. Thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and our free Discord link for that is in the description. I'll see you guys all tomorrow morning for the next live session. Stay green.